Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. There were very interesting events earlier today in Kisumu town. A group of protesters took to the streets of Kisumu calling for peace. It later emerged that the protesters were other supporters masquerading as peace ambassadors, and that probably they were being sponsored by ODM rebels in Nyanza. As that became clear and apparent to the locals rejected them. Let's have a look at the story as reported by the Star. We know that the Star is leaning towards Kenya Kwanza government. But let's just have a look at the way they reported the story. 6 people were injured in the ensuing melee when supporters of Azimio leader Raila Odinga pelted the group with stones, forcing them to run for their safety. Our procession was not political, but to champion for peace amongst our youths. He said, now these are the protesters now talking. Okello said the protesters were only promoting peace in the region for the sake of development and well-being of the people. He said they acted within the precincts of the Constitution, which guarantees the right of peaceful picketing. Wilson Aminda, one of the demonstrators, said they were championing for peace and not violence. He added that the attack on them was unwarranted and should be probed effectively by security agencies. And you have seen some photos there as they were demonstrating. Kenyans remain peaceful. Kisumu residents champion for peace. Yes, those were some of the placards they were carrying as they were demonstrating and protesting in Kisumu town. It later turned out they were other supporters being paid by ODM rebels to thwart Azimio's plans in Kisumu and maybe in Nyanza. In this video, I want us to dig deep into this story for Kenyans to know what's happening behind the scenes, remaining just hours to the big day. If you are watching us, but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give this video a like. That's a confirmation that temperatures across the country, political temperatures, are rising. Kenyans are receding to their political and ethnic cocoons. Any person who is seen to be singing a different tune is seen as a betrayer. That's the first thing I'm seeing coming out very clearly from that Kisumu incident. I'm very sure that as time goes by, Kenya is going to be balkanized. The traditional Raila Odinga strongholds are going to be consolidated. The traditional anti-Raila Odinga strongholds will also be consolidated. So Kenya will clearly be divided along political and ethnic lines. So if William Ruto believes he's the president, he should rise, or rather he should rise up and make sure he is seen as a symbol of national unity, and in fact it's his responsibility to bring the country together, not dividing the country. Because from what we saw in Kisumu, it's almost very certain that those protesters masquerading as peace ambassadors were most definitely sponsored by the government. And in this case, I'm saying they were sponsored by ODM rebels now supporting the government. So you are seeing the government itself is actually helping in dividing Kenyans. That's one thing coming out very, very clearly. And then secondly, that should be a lesson, or that incident should ring some loud bells in the ears of odium rebels, more so in Nyanza region, that as political temperatures rises, they will find themselves outcasts. They will find themselves walk very lonely. The people will rebel against them. Their kinsmen will rebel against them. So as smart politician, you should look at the bigger picture, because eventually a leader who has any political ambition in Nyanza cannot join hands, or should not join hands, with William Ruto's government, with Kenya Kwanza's government. Joining hands with William Ruto's government is just a way a politician is committing political suicide. Let these politicians from Nyanza know that Raila Odinga is going nowhere. Come that 2027, or come any election anytime soon, Raila Odinga will still be a force to reckon with, more so in Nyanza. So the so-called rebels joining William Ruto, that they're seeking development. The people are not interested in those developments they're seeking. The people are interested in the bigger picture. That's what the people are interested in. From that incident again, you are seeing the kind of hypocrisy we have in Kenyans. People calling for peace. They are not addressing the root cause of why there is no peace. Peace cannot be there without justice. When you have a government that is only appointing two communities in government, you have a government where the top leadership, instead of bringing the country together, they are busy stereotyping against some other communities, against some individuals, calling them ganga, wale watu wa kurusha mawe, wale watu wa kung'oa reli. When you have a government doing all that, how will there be peace? So instead of the demonstrators calling upon William Ruto and his government to make sure that appointments in government are done without tribalism, top government leaders are actually restraining who they speak. They are talking for peace, or rather they are wasting time saying that they want peace, but they are not addressing the root cause why there is no peace. From that again, it's also coming out very clearly how some Kenyans can actually be used to betray the bigger cause. In this case, the bigger cause, Kenyans are fighting for electoral reforms. Kenyans want a situation where you go to the ballot, you cast your vote, and that vote counts. That's where Kenyans, or rather, that's why Kenyans are demonstrating. Kenyans are looking for a possibility, or rather wants a situation where the government brings down the cost of living. And the government has the ability of doing that. In fact, is that the government is just maybe, the government has misplaced priorities. That's why the cost of living is going up. And I'm saying that because we have a government that is giving more priority to recurrent expenditure, things like luxury, at the expense of the common man and at the expense of development. That's why there is no peace. And I can go on and mention so many things that this government is getting wrong. And all those are leading to the current state Kenya is in. So instead of those demonstrators calling for peace, let them be brave enough to face William Ruto and his team. Let them tell William Ruto that, Mr. President, things are going south. Let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. But just as I did indicate when we were starting, if you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, give this video a like. If you want to support us here, Because some of you have been asking for that, I've pinned my number on the comment section. Contact me through the number or feel free to channel your support to the number. Let's meet in our next analysis.